Happy New Year, my friend! May 2020 bring you happiness and success. We have a very special episode for you today, a brand new microphone, a new overlay, and our first 4-player match. We even thought about the opening hands. The challengers today will be Mathieu, piloting his Lord WindGrace deck. The deck aims to outramp his opponents and win through landfall triggers, big X spells, or raw damage with cards like Multani. Next, we have Jenny, piloting their Azusa deck. This deck, too, aims to get a lot of mana and win through the big creature known as Eldrazi. After that, Kelly is playing It Wasn't Me, led by Xantcha. This deck aims to limit people's resources by making them discard or pay life during their turns. As of now, this deck has been replaced with a Chainer deck in our collection, so this might be the last time we see Xantcha on this channel. And finally, I bring the Sons of Hilharg, led by Ghired, Conclave Exile. This deck wants to play strong Naya creatures, create a lot of tokens, and overrun people through combat damage and triggers like Warstorm Surge. My opening hand contains Twin Flame, Garruk Pack Leader, Giant Adephage, Hour of Reckoning, Myriad Landscape, Exotic Orchard, and a Mountain. Mathieu's hand contains Squandered Resources, Titania Protector of Vargoth, Cinderglade, Windswept Heath, Lotus Vale, Lotus Field, and a Forest. Janice's hand contains Garruk Primal Hunter, Oracle of Moldaya, Ujin the Ineffable, Acidic Slime, Ark of Orazka, and 2 basic forests. And finally, Kelly's hand contains Sunsbird's Invocation, No Mercy, Ophiomancer, Rakdos Signet, Rixmadi Dungeon Palace, Shadowblood Bridge, and a Myriad Landscape. I win the die roll and start this match. I'll then drop a Myriad Landscape and pass to Kelly. She does the same and pass to Jenny. Jenny then drops a basic forest and shifts the turn to Mathieu. He'll then drop a Windswept Heath, cracking it for an overgrown tomb, tap, and pass. For my second turn, I'll then drop a Naya Panorama and crack it to search my library for a basic forest. I then pass. Kelly then drops a Rixmadi and pays 2 for a Rakdos Signet, ending her turn. Jenny then drops her second basic forest and passed. Mathieu plays a Cinderglade, tapped, and ends his turn. For my third turn, I'll then drop a basic mountain and pays 2 to crack my Myriad Landscape, fetching 2 plain to my battlefield. Kelly's does the same by playing a Shadowblood Bridge and fetching 2 swamp. Jenny then drops Ark of Orazka and pays 3 for a commander, Azusa Lost but Seeking.
Whenever I set my pack and rest my head, I am home.
She then uses one of her bonus land drop and plays a basic forest. Mathieu sacrifices 2 lands to play a Lotus Vale. He then pays 3 to play a Cultivate. He passes. For my fourth turn, I'll then drop an Exotic Orchard and play my commander, Ghired, Conclave Exile.
Harmony is no longer an option!
Entering the battlefield, he creates a 4/4 Rhino token with Trample, and I end my turn. Kelly looks around the table and gives me her commander, Xantcha, Sleeper Agent.
If fear is the only tool you have left, then you'll never control me.
She then passes. Jenny plays an Oracle of Moldaya, hoping to find the land she needs on top of her deck, and find an untamed Fangraph. She then goes to combat and attack Kelly with her commander for 1 damage. She shifts the turn to Mathieu. Mathieu then drops a basic swamp and pays 5 for his commander, Lord WindGrace.
Not all will remember Azusa. It was so fondly.
He uses the Planeswalker -3 to bring back the Cinderglade and the Overgrown Tomb from his graveyard to the battlefield. He then plays a Sakura Tribuilder and ends his turn. I start my 5th turn by playing a Clifftop Retreat and cast an Oran Frostfang. I go to combat and send Xantcha at Jenny, a Rhino in Lord WindGrace, and Ghired plus a Rhino to Kelly. Oran Frostfang triggers and I draw some cards before going to my discard step. Kelly casts a No Mercy and tells me to keep my Rhino for myself. Mathieu, for his part, is worried that this card will send him more Rhino in his direction. She ends her turn. Jenny plays a Nissa, who shakes the world, and uses her +1 to untap a forest and add 3 +1/+1 counter into it. She goes to combat and sends everything at Mathieu. Mathieu untaps and land drops a basic forest. He then plays Titania, and brings back his fetch land with her enter the battlefield ability. He immediately uses the fetch land to find a forest and create a 5/3 elemental. He ends by casting a tireless tracker and takes a couple of seconds to reflect on his turn order. I start my 6th turn by land dropping a mirror pool tapped. I then cast Warstorm Surge and go to combat. The Populate Rhino deals 4 damage to Titania by entering the battlefield. I then send Xantcha and a Rhino to Nissa, Ghired and a Rhino to Jenny, and a single Rhino to Mathieu. I draw a couple of cards and end my turn. Kelly plays a Silent Arbiter, a card quite evil with Xantcha as she must attack each combat, preventing me to attack with another creature. She then casts a Thaumatic Compass and pass to Jenny. Jenny land drops a Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and casts Garruk, Primal Hunter. She uses his +1 to create a 3/3 beast and end her turn. Mathieu land drops a Lotus Field, bring back his commander, and uses his -3 to return a mountain and a forest from his graveyard to the battlefield. Not liking the cage I've been put into, I cast Beast Within on the Silent Arbiter, destroying it. I then cast a Parallel Live and land drop a Jungle Shrine before going to combat. I populate 2 Rhino with Ghired, dealing 4 damage to Lord WindGrace and 4 to Garruk. I send Ghired +1 Rhino to Mathieu, Xantcha +1 Rhino to Jenny, and 3 Rhino to Kelly. I draw with the Oran Frostfang. Reinforcing my archenemy position every turn, I pass. Kelly untaps and bedevil my Ice Snake. Mathieu then uses Xantcha to trade 2 of my life for a card. Kelly uses our Compass to fetch a basic mountain and land drop it before passing. Jenny land drops a forest and casts an Acidic Slime. Upon entering the battlefield, it destroys my parallel lives. A tragedy, really. She passed the turn to Mathieu. Mathieu untaps and land drop a Field of the Dead. Since he controls 7 differently named lands, he will create a zombie with every land drop. He casts a Zotan Orb and sacrifices the Field of the Dead to gain 2 life. Lord WindGrace makes another comeback and -3 Field of the Dead and the fetch land. He cracks the fetch land and creates 3 more zombies by doing so. I start my turn by land dropping a Sunpetal Grove. I then cast God Eternal Okitra. I deal 3 damage to the Oracle of Moldaya with Warstorm Surge. From now on, by casting a creature spell, I will create a 4/4 zombie with Vigilance. I cast Atlepolani and get the said 4/4 zombie. I deal 4 damage to the Tireless Tracker and 2 damage to the Acidic Slime. I then go to combat. I populate a Rhino, and like a broken record, deal 4 damage to Mr. WindGrace. I send Ghired plus a Rhino to Jenny, Xantcha +2 Rhino, head to Mathieu. I end my turn. Kelly untaps and then drops a basic mountain. She then plays a Koskun Falls and a Ophiomancer. At the end of her turn, the Compass flip. I must admit, at this moment, our defenses are quite impressive. Jenny starts her turn by casting a Fierce Empath, searching a library for an Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger. She then uses Eternal Witness to bring back her Oracle to her hand, and before untapping, Mathieu uses his leftover mana to activate Xantcha and cracks a clue. Mathieu then drops a basic forest, creating a zombie, and then casts Obnixilis the Fallen. He sacrifices a forest to gain 2 HP, and then bring back his commander to return the forest and his fetch land to the battlefield. He takes a moment to wonder if it is the right time to declare war with the Rhino guy, and decided that yes,
this is the way.
He cracks his fetch land and uses the 3 Obnixilis trigger on me, losing me 9 life. He then passes. I draw and cast Aura Shard. Kelly's castle seems to crumble under her feet. I activate Atlepolani to create an egg, and the Aura Shard triggers destroy Koskun Falls. I also deal 0 damage to Mathieu with Warstorm Surge. Sometimes it's about the message, not the numbers. I cast an Elemental Bond and go to combat. I populate, destroying No Mercy with Aura Shards, and deal 4 damage to Mathieu. Kelly makes a deal with Mathieu to untap a Rhino heading his way. I send Ep.3 to Kelly, Ghired and a 4/4 zombie to Jenny, and Xantcha plus 2 Rhino to Mathieu. As I deal no damage to any opponent, I exclaim, "This is the part where I split the damage too much and lose the game, isn't it?" On this thought, I end my turn. Kelly casts a Sunbird's invocation, and follow it up with the Talisman of Indulgence. The invocations trigger, but no cards are legal targets. She then passes. Jenny casts Ujin, the Ineffable, and uses his +1 to create a 2/2 spirit that will eventually put a card to her hand. She recasts the Oracle of Muldaya and pass. Mathieu then drops a blood crit tapped, creating a zombie and losing me 3 life. He then casts Omnat, Locust of Rage, followed by a Dread Presence. He then plays a Kodoma's Reach and fetch a Swamp for his hand and a Swamp to the battlefield. I lose 3 life to the Obnixilis and he loses 1 to the Dread Presence to draw a card. He ends his turn. The time is now. Kill or be killed. I cast Garrux, Pax Leader, and Ep.3 grants me with a 4/4 zombie. I deal 8 damage to Mathieu. I then cast Iroas, God of Victory, creating another 4/4. Mathieu takes 4 damage with the zombie entering the battlefield, but before Iroas' damage resolves, he casts Putrefy on my Atlepalani. He then sacrifices 8 land to the orb and gains 16 life before losing 7 of it to Iroas. I then declare my Aura Shards trigger on the invocation, the orb, and 2 clues. Before losing his orb, Mathieu sacrificed the last land for 2 additional HP. I then drop a command tower and go to combat. I populate a Rhino, dealing 4 damage to Mathieu, and send everything his way. Iroas gives my creature menace and prevent damage to be dealt to them. Mathieu blocks with everything he has and ends up at 3 HP with the help of Kelly. I end my turn. Kelly casts a bomb of her own, Archfiend of Despair. I can feel my demise coming. She passes. Jenny uses Eugen to destroy Ghired. She then casts the Ulamog she fetches earlier and exile Omnat and the Flipped Compass. She goes to combat and sends her spirit to Mathieu. He cannot take the damage, so he blocks it and Jenny gets the card. Mathieu untaps and starts his turn. He then drops a swamp and creates a zombie, losing me 3 life. He brings back WindGrace and -3 to bring 2 more lands into play, losing me 6 life. He casts Multani, Yavimaya Avatar. He needs a little more damage to kill me with the Demon's Trigger, so he uses Xantcha to lose me 2 more life, sealing my fate. He finishes with a Soul Ring, and at his end step, the Archfiend sends my HP to the Shadow Realm. Kelly plays Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and uses her +1 to deal 2 damage to our opponents. This is sadly enough to take Mathieu out. She casts Bone Miser and goes to combat. She sends her demons to Jenny. At her end step, the Archfiend finishes Mathieu and lowers Jenny to a 1-turn clock. Jenny plays a basic forest and a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. She casts Vordvunur, followed by Surak, the Hunt Caller. She goes to combat, and Surak grants the Vordvunur haste. She sends everything she can to Kelly and deals her 4 damage. Kelly untaps, uses Chandra for 2 damage, and swings her demon for lethal damage. Kelly is the grand winner of Episode 3. Looking back at this game, Jenny got some mana problem and couldn't annihilate as much as she wanted. Mathieu got somewhat of a slow start, but got to do what the deck aims to do. Kelly got hit really hard by my Aura Shards trigger. Without this card, she would have probably looked more like a threat. And for myself, I got an excellent game, didn't focus enough to close it, but I enjoy it nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been working on it for a while and would love to know what you think about the layout, the combat phases, or even the commentary. If you want to see more of it, subscribe and we'll see you very soon.
I really hate Phyrexia.